Hi there, it's Roy Breton here from gardenequipmentreview.com. I hope you're doing well. Today the title of my video is Types of Mower, and I actually created a video some time ago back in February, and it's called Types of Lawnmower 2025 four-wheeled lawnmowers. And my plan was to make individual videos, but unfortunately that hasn't happened, so I'm going to make one long video. There will be timestamps in the video, so if you want to go to a particular type you can go to that type, but this is more just to tell you the types of mower more than a review of a particular mower. So let's start off with probably the mowers that give a good finish and general all-round use, which are rear roller mowers. And there's all sorts of different makes on here. These are the Cobra ones, Hater, Hater Harrier Pro. So let's just open this Hater Harrier Pro up. So if we look at this picture, you've got a roller at the back, a collector, and wheels at the front. Height adjuster here, but basically these are roller driven. There are a few of the very light ones, the cheaper ones, are push, but I would definitely go for a rear roller machine, which enables you to stripe your lawn. Doesn't give quite a good, not quite such a good finish as a cylinder mower, but it does give a nice stripe finish. And don't use Haters now. I use something called a Wee Bang, which are also on our site. But same principle. But you've got a height adjuster here, and petrol engine. They are available in electric and battery, I believe, but personally I prefer the petrol ones, and this one here is a commercial one. But the good thing is they're pretty versatile, but they won't cut really long grass. They are meant for regular cutting. Perhaps if you let your lawn go for 2 or 3 weeks, you probably get away with it, but in normal terms they're meant for regular cutting. But certainly I would certainly recommend this type of mower if you want nice striped lawn and for efficiency and what have you. So that's the rear roller mowers. Let's go on to four-wheel rotary mowers. Very similar. A collector, but these have 4 wheels, no roller. So you're not going to get that striped effect. However, they're great for picking up grass, very straightforward. You can get push ones and petrol ones, electric ones. Personally, I would go for the petrol ones with driven wheels, like self-propelled ones, as it's easier. And they're not often much more money, but just saves having to push them. But very efficient and easy way to cut your grass, a cheap way of producing a lawnmower. They come from all different sorts of prices. This is just default sorting. You can set the prices for low to high or high to low if you're looking for something cheap. But I wouldn't necessarily go cheap, which I'll come to in a moment. So these are good all-rounders, but you don't get the striped finish. Next ones are cylinder mowers. Now these are I've got petrol cylinder mowers here, but you can actually get push ones and electric ones. These are the ones if you want a bowling green type lawn. I wouldn't recommend them for most people. Most people would be far better off with a rear roller rotary mower that we just looked at when I started the video. But if you have one of these very fine lawns, these cylinder mowers are great. Once again, there's different price range. This Atco is £1,145. Basically there's a cylinder, a bottom blade. It's more of a precise cutting action. So there's a bottom blade in this cylinder. It's like a scissor cutting action, two square pieces of metal coming together. So the reason cylinders, I don't recommend them for lots of people. If anything gets bent, then you will not be able to cut your grass properly. So they are really meant for fine lawns, not for lawns where you've got a dog or children playing. But a nice mower if you've got the right lawn. So next ones, which are becoming very popular and I quite like, are mulching mowers. And I think we all know if we cut grass that it takes time to empty out the grass box. Well, with a mulching mower, that just mulches it into small pieces and puts it back in the lawn. These are very similar to the four-wheeled mowers that we looked at earlier. Petrol engine, you can get them in electric, you can get them in battery. Certainly can't get them in, they've got to be powered to be a mulching mower. But these are good. But obviously, if you want them to mulch, you've got to cut your grass regularly, really at least once a week to get a good mulch. But definitely a mower that I would recommend if you just want to go out there, cut your grass, no grass to collect, very simple. And these are available in push mowers and driven as well, wheel-driven mowers. And I would go for the wheel-driven mowers. The next type, which you don't see so much now, these are petrol hover mowers, but once again, you can see they are available in electric. These shouldn't actually be in this category. I'll have to remove them. There's a separate section for electric hover mowers. But these can come in battery powered, electric, or my preferred, again, petrol, as it just gives that flexibility. Great for doing banks and what have you, although sometimes if you've got a good strimmer, that's good for banks, but these are good for banks. And the only trouble I find with a hover mower, they float on a cushion of air, so sometimes it's easier to pull them backwards than it is to push them forward, but that's kind of personal preference. But very simple way of cutting your grass. And once again, they mulch. I think there are some electric fly mows that collect, but in general they're more of a mulching type mower, but not quite so popular as what they were a few years ago. The next type are your classic push mowers. Now once again, there's a fair some rogue mowers that have got in here, but when I'm referring to push mowers, I'm talking about more these old-fashioned cylinder type mowers, which is cheap, and if you haven't got much lawn, it's a cheap way of getting a mower, simple way, and leaving a reasonable finish as well, and not silly money. And that's one, this web 12-inch, £109. The wider web 18-inch is £160, but obviously prices change from time to time. But if you just got a small lawn and you don't want to bother about a petrol engine or anything, then these aren't a bad buy, to be fair, and should give you quite a few years of service. So now we're coming on to ride-on mowers, a different sort of league. Now they come in all sorts of different sizes. Just remember, with a ride-on mower, they're not, especially this type, they're not so manoeuvrable as your traditional walk-behind mower. So if you've got lots of obstacles, often you're better off with a walk-behind mower. But obviously, if you've got a very large area, then you need a ride-on. Just make sure you get one that's manoeuvrable and large enough. Now these are little Alco mowers, nice and compact, easy to use, and you can empty the grass box from your seat. Make sure if you buy a ride-on mower, you can empty it from your seat. Some mowers have, ride-ons have like 3 bags which you have to get off and empty, which to me defeats the object of having a ride-on mower. If you're using a ride-on mower, you don't want to keep getting on and off, you want to stay on the seat. So something like these are very compact, and you just pull that lever and flip the bag open and it goes on the heap. But once again, we've got all sorts of different price ranges on here, which you can look at, ride-on mowers. And then the next one is probably my favourite type of mowers, as they're so manoeuvrable. Now I've actually got this set from high to low, so don't be too shocked at the prices. They're not all this amount of money. Some Toro zero turns here. Basically, these zero turns, they have a hydraulic motor on each rear wheel, which enables you to go instantly forward and reverse by pulling these levers. And then here they have caster wheels, so you can just turn the mower around in itself. So they really are manoeuvrable. You're like literally cutting 100% of the time, or almost. Going around trees and what have you, not a problem. You can just get in and out of places really easy, instant forward and reverse. And once again, some of these are mulching mowers, which is good, and it really is a quick way to cut your grass, and something that I can very much recommend. Now we're coming on to scythe mowers. These are, you don't see so many of these now. These mowers now are a bit more old-fashioned, but still good. And they're like the traditional Allen scythe, same sort of cutting system as almost like a hedge cutter, but heavier duty. So these will go through like long grass, brambles. However, they don't chop, so you've really got to clear up after them. That's a disadvantage, but they will go through long grass. But if you've got an area to knock down and you don't know what's in there, these are good for that. But just bear in mind you have to clear up, or you could run a rotary mower over it and chop the grass up. So slightly different sort of machine, not quite so popular as what they were a few years ago, because other types of machines have superseded these. Now we come to out front mowers, and these are like articulated, as you can see here in the picture. So these are not quite as maneuverable as the zero turns, but not far behind, and they'd probably be my, as for ride-ons, my next favoured type of machines. So these are mulching decks as well, and the decks can come up sort of 180 degrees, so it's easy to sharpen the blades, take the blades off, or whatever, for easy access. Highly maneuverable with this articulated turn. The zero turn mowers had levers, but these have a steering wheel, so really easy. I really like this principle. I've used Husqvarna type mowers that are basically on the same level as Stiga, all different types, depending on your size of garden and pocket. And then finally we come to robotic mowers. If you don't like cutting grass and you've got a reasonably straightforward garden, robotic mowers are great. They have a base station. You set them to come out when you want them to. They mulch, there's no grass to pick up, and if it rains they go back to the base station and you literally have to do nothing. But the most important thing is, depending how your robotic mower works, some of them work with a perimeter wire, and others work off of not Starlink, off a GPS signal. I've never used one with a GPS signal, but I'm told the technology is much better than it used to be, so more accurate. But if you are putting in a perimeter wire, just make sure and take time to do the setup properly, because the idea of the perimeter wire is that the mower runs over the perimeter wire. You won't see it once the grass has grown over it. It'll follow that perimeter wire, and it's important to get it set up right, because you don't want the mower to miss bits, or you don't want it to end up in a flower border either. So taking time when you carry out the installation is important. But there are companies that will install these machines for you, and if you don't like cutting grass, this is a great option. They're not silly money. Prices vary depending on what you want, but for many people they're not silly money, and you don't have to cut your grass, and you can just set it to come out every day if you want to. But I would say probably 2 or 3 times a week is more appropriate. So just coming back to cost, we've got all different types of mowers on here, some budget mowers, some professional, and some in between. I would just say the more money you can spend, and I know we've all got a budget, but if you want something to last, you're better off to pay a bit more money. And I always believe, whether it's a computer, a car, a woodworking tool, if you buy something that's cheap, it's probably not going to last you that long. But if you buy something that's well made, well engineered, then it should give you many years of service. So don't always go for the cheapest. Like I said, I know we've all got budgets to work to, but if you can, buy the best you can for the job in hand, and it should give many years of service. So if you've got any comments on here, I went through these quite quickly, but like I said, it's not about reviews or telling you about particular machines. It's just the principles of how these machines work. So if you do have any questions, I'm here to help, and please feel free to leave a comment and I will try and reach out to you. Thanks very much for watching.